everyone, welcome to our video. In this video, we will be talking about political self. So welcome and hope you gain something knowledgeable from us at the end of this video. Have you ever asked yourself what is truly a Filipino identity? Recall an instance, or maybe you can imagine a moment when you are the only Filipino conversing among a group of people from different nationalities. Will you be proud of speaking about all the beautiful things about our country and of being a Filipino? Are you going to speak ill of your country, or will you be just quietly mortified by the fact that you are a Filipino? Truly, we have a lot to be proud of. If only we realized that there are things unique to the identity of our country, we might be able to rethink that sense of pride.
Objectives. At the end of this learning module, you are expected to trace the historical context of the political self of the Filipinos, take pride of the Filipino identifying values and traits, connect the current trends of social upheavals to the historical viewpoints of independence and liberation. Developing a Filipino identity, values, traits, community, and institutional factors. Pre-colonial era. Pre-colonial Filipinos lived in independent, self-governing communities known as balangay. The term balangay itself is derived from a modern boat used by a community of families for their living. According to Antonio Pigapita, who sailed with Magellan, the people of the Philippines before the Spanish arrived were autonomous and economically prosperous.
My name is Kimjin Kabalya, and this moment we'll be talking about developing a Philippine identity, values, traits, community, and institutional factors. Our historical experiences provides a profound trace of how identifying values and traits have developed. Pre-colonial Philippine society was characterized by a decentralized political system. Instead of a single unified government, power was distributed among numerous independent communities, each typically inhabiting a balangay. A balangay is derived from a modern boat used by a community of families for their living. These were essentially self-governing units, often comprising several families related by blood or kinship. Each balangay managed its own affairs, including governance, trade, and defense. Pigafetta's observations, while limited by his outsider perspective and the short duration of Magellan's voyage, point towards a level of economic prosperity within these communities. These prosperities likely stem from a combination of factors, including effective resource management, thriving trade networks, both within the archipelago and with neighboring regions, and sophisticated agricultural practices. The absence of a centralized extractive state allowed communities to retain a greater share of the wealth they generated.
Miguel Lupis de Legazpi, Spanish governor in Philippines, Sanduguan. native chieftain Sinkatuna of Bohol.
Good day everyone. My name is Ellen Ann Sauro Kabakang, Base A1A. Miguel Lopez de Legazpi, Spanish Governor in Philippines. Sa paglipas ng 3 centuries, tayong mga Filipino ay patuloy na tumutulong sa mga colonizers para tumatag ang kanilang military fortress. Nagbayad sa kanilang mga tax. Tayo na isumali sa kanilang bilang isa sa mga Civil Guard o kung tawaging ay mga sundalo. Pero sa kabilang ating pagiging tapat sa kanila, hindi pa rin ito naging tapat para maging tapat sila sa atin. Patuloy pa rin silang naghihingi ng bawis sa ating mga magsasaka at naging limitado ang ating kalayaan. Sanduguan Native Chieftain Sinkatuna of Bohol. Isinagawa ng 2 pinuno sa pamamagitan ng paghiwa sa kanilang polso gamit ang kutsilyo. Ito ay palatandaan ng pagiging magkasundo ng 2 pangkat.
Towards the end of the 3rd century, educated Indus Philippine natives, inspired by ancestral values and kinship, demonstrated katapangan, or courage, in English, against Spanish oppression.
Towards the end of the 13th century, educated Filipinos, drawing strength from their traditional values and kinship ties, displayed remarkable courage, also means as katapangan. The term katapangan, meaning courage, emphasizes their definite actions against the oppressive forces. This resistance demonstrates that even in the face of overwhelming power, the Filipinos' cultural identity and commitment to their heritage fueled their struggle for freedom.
Rizal, through his writing, ignited Filipino patriotism and exposed the injustices of colonial rule. While Rizal didn't directly participate in armed revolution, his final poem, Mi Ultimo Adios, seemed to support it. The text also highlights the betrayal and conflict between the Filipino revolutionaries, the subsequent American intervention, and the eventual achievement of independence in 1946 after the Philippine-American War.
Hi ma'am, I am Kabidis Blisi Hinandoy from BC 1A. The text and discussion, the Philippine struggle for independence, focusing on the roles of Jose Rizal and the other key figure. Rizal, through his writing, intelligent Filipino patriotism, and exposed injustice of colonial roles. While Rizal did not directly participate in armed revolution, his final poem, Mi Ultimus Adus, seemed to support it. The text also highlights the betrayal and conflict between Filipino revolutionists, the subsequent American intervention, and the eventual achievement of independence in 1946. After the Philippines-American War, the text and emphasize the Filipinos' present desire for freedom through this period. Ang teksto ay tumutukoy sa pakikiwakan ng Pilipinas para sa kalayaan ng pinangunahan ni Jose Rizal. At ng iba pang bayani, ipinakita nito ang pagnanais ng mga Pilipino para sa kalayaan mula sa mga pananakop ng mga Hapon at kanilang hinaharap sa paggamit nito. That's all.
Establishing a democratic culture refers to the process of creating and promoting a society where democratic values, principles, and practices are deeply ingrained and widely accepted. This involves cultivating a mindset and attitude among citizens that embraces democratic norms such as respect for human rights and dignity, equality and justice for all, participation and inclusivity in decision-making processes, transparency and accountability in governance, tolerance and respect for diversity and opposing views.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Junmil Silais Capitis. The topic is about establishing a democratic culture. Establishing a democratic culture refers to the process of creating and promoting a society where democratic values, principles, and practices are deeply ingrained and widely accepted. Establishing a democratic culture is about developing a society where democracy is not just a system of government but a way of life. This involves ensuring that people understand, accept, and practice democratic values in their daily interactions, governance, and institutions. A democratic culture is built on values that promote fairness, participation, and respect for all individuals. It requires education, awareness, and involvement and involvement and active involvement from leaders and citizens to thrive. Okay. This involves cultivating a mindset and attitude among citizens that embraces democratic norms such as number 1, respect for human rights and dignity. Respect for human rights and dignity, acknowledging the inherent worth of every person, ensuring they are treated fairly, free from discrimination, and with the ability to make choices and live life free from harm. Number 2, equality and justice for all. Equality and justice for all, ensuring everyone has equal rights, dignity, and opportunities, regardless of their backgrounds, circumstances, and promoting a fair and just society where everyone can thrive. Number 3, participation and inclusivity in decision-making processes. Crucial for a democratic leadership, ensuring diverse perspectives are heard and ultimately leading to better outcomes and increased trust. Number 4, transparency and accountability in governance. Enabling citizens to hold their leaders accountable for their actions and decisions, ultimately contributing to a more just and effective society. And the last is tolerance and respect for diversity and opposing views. Considering alternative perspectives and opinions for everyone, for every citizens. Thank you.
In recognition of the importance of people power and the fortification of democratic culture, the 1987 Constitution ensures the following. The government shall afford full protection of Filipino workers here and abroad and provide equality of employment opportunities. That everyone guarantees the right of workers to self-organization, collective bargaining and negotiations, and peaceful concerted activities in accordance with law. That institutions recognize the rights of farmers and landowners as well as cooperative and farmers organizations. That authorities protect the rights of subsistence farm folks. That the people may pursue and protect within the democratic framework their legitimate and collective interest through peaceful and lawful means. That government ensures the right of the people and their organizations to effective and reasonable participation of all levels of social, political, and economic decision making. that Congress provides a system of initiative and referendum where people can directly propose and enact or reject laws passed by Congress or local legislative body.
Good morning everyone. This is my topic for today. Ang EDSA People Power. Ang makasaysayang mapayapang revolusyong EDSA People Power ang nagpatnubay sa paglalathala ng konstitusyon ng 1987. Tinutukoy ng dokumentong ito kung paano gumagana ang mga institusyon at sistema ng pamahalaan sa paraan ng demokrasya. Bilang pagkilala sa kahalagahan ng people power at ang pagpapalakas ng demokratikong kultura, tinitiyak ng konstitusyon ng 1987 ang mga sumusunod. Bibigyan ng pamahalaan ng buong proteksyon ang mga manggagawang Pilipino dito at sa ibang bansa at magbibigay ng pagkakapantay-pantay ng mga pagkakataon sa trabaho. Artikulo 12 Section 3, tinitiyak ng lahat ang karapatan ng mga manggagawa sa pag-organisa sa sarili, kolektibong paikipag-usap at negosasyon, at mapayapang mga pinagkasunduang gawain alinsunod sa batas. Artikulo 12 Section 3. Pangatlo, kinikilala ng mga institusyon ang mga karapatan ng mga magsasaka at may-ari ng lupa, pati na rin ang mga kooperatiba at organisasyon ng mga magsasaka. Artikulo 13, Section 3. Pinoprotektahan ng mga autoridad ang mga karapatan ng mga mangingisdang pangkabuhayan. Yan na po ay pang-apat. Artikulo 13 sections. Artikulo 13 section 7. Panglima, maaring ituloy at protektahan ng mga tao sa loob ng demokratikong balangkas ang kanilang lehitimo at kolektibong interes sa pamamagitan ng mapayapang at legal na paraan. Artikulo 13 Section 15. Tinitiyak ng pamahalaan ang karapatan ng mga tao at ng kanilang mga organisasyon sa epektibo at makatwirang pakikilahok sa lahat ng antas ng panlipunan, panpolitika at pang-ekonomiyang paggawa ng desisyon. Artikulo 13 Section 10. Pang-7. Nagbibigay ang Kongreso ng isang sistema ng inisyatiba at referendum kung saan ang mga tao ay maaaring direktang magmungkahi at magpatupad o tumanggi sa mga batas na ipinasa ng Kongreso o lokal na katawan ng lehislatura. Artikulo 16 Section 32. At yan po ang aking report. Maraming salamat. Thank you po, ma'am.
Democracy involves awareness and understanding of self and community. It is both the foundation and the result of democratic practices.
Hi ma'am, my name is Abigail Caricon and my topic is all about democracy. So when we say democracy, it is a system of government where supreme power is vested in the people and exercised by them directly or indirectly through a system of representation, typically involving periodic free and fair elections. Involves awareness and understanding of self and community. It means that a functioning democracy requires citizens to be aware of their own rights and responsibilities, as well as the needs and perspectives of their community. This involves understanding social issues, political processes, and the impact of decisions on both individual lives and the collective well-being. For example, a citizen uh, actively participates in local town hall meetings to voice their concerns about proposed zoning changes that could affect their neighborhood. They understand their right to participate and the potential impact of the decision on their community. Next is it is both the foundation and the result of democratic practices. It means that democracy is not a static entity, it's a continuous process. The principles and practices of democracy, which is free and fair elections, protection of rights, rule of law, etc., form the foundation upon which a democratic society is built. The successful application of these practices strengthens and reinforces the democratic system, making it the result of its own success. For example, free and fair elections, it is the foundation, allow citizens to choose their representatives. If these elections are consistently free and fair and the elected officials act in accordance with the will of the people, then the strength and legitimacy of the democratic system are reinforced, which is the result. So in essence, it emphasized that democracy is not merely a set of rules or institutions, but a dynamic interplay between individual awareness, community engagement, and the ongoing practice of democratic principle. That's all. Thank you.
Action agenda for a democratic society. Number 1. Improve the political and social environment and reduce poverty through structural reforms in order to foster a sense of community and enable citizens to exercise their rights and fulfill their obligations. Number 2. Continually re-examine societal institutions responsible for value formation so that they inculcate rather than indoctrinate democratic and citizenship values. Number 3. Incorporate cross-cultural activities in public and private sector programs, including those of school, churches, NGOs, and POS, so as to recognize ethno-linguistic and cultural diversity in the country and encourage the sharing of experiences. Number 4. Further promote the use of Filipino and Philippine languages in all transactions so as to enable the articulation of citizenship and democratic views and values. Number 5. Continue to harness institutional as well as informal mechanisms that open up space for existence and democracy conflict resolution process, face-to-face dialogues, partnership among groups, sectors, even in the government.
Everyone, I am Mika Tabalyo Siskar. B is Agriculture, Section A. My topic is about action agenda for a democratic society. Number 1 is improve the political and environment and reduce poverty through structural reform in order to foster a sense of community and enable citizens to exercise their rights and fulfill their obligations. Um, Make big change and how the government and economy work to help reduce poverty and unfair treatment. When people are not struggling just to survive, they can focus more on being active and responsible citizens. Like for example is pagkakaroon ng maraming trabaho and abot kayang edukasyon at serbisyong medikal at syempre is um, patas na batas para sa lahat. Number 2 is about continually re-examine societal institutions responsible for value information so that they inculcate rather than indoctrinate democratic and citizenship values. Um, we need to make sure they help people think for themselves and understand the democracy, not just blindly follow the rules. And it's about teaching people to be responsible citizens and how can question what's right and wrong. Number three is incorporate cross-cultural activities in public and private sector programs, including the schools, churches, and NGO and PO, so as to recognize ethno-linguistic and cultural diversity in the country and encourage the sharing of experiences. Um, this means encouraging schools, church to celebrate the many ethnic and cultural groups in the country. For examples, I might school celebrate a different local festivals or teach students about other groups' tradition and language. Number four is further promote the use of Filipino and Philippines language in all transactions so as to enable the articulation, citizenship, and democratic views and values. Speaking in our own language helps more people to understand and join in when talking about the government, society, and citizenship. And it makes easier for people for all religion to understand and to join the conversation. Number five is continue to harness institutional as well as informed mechanism that open up space for existence and democracy conflict resolution process, face-to-face dialogues, partnership amongst group and sectors, and even the government. This include town meeting, community gathering, or even casual discussion where people and group, including the government, can listen to each other and work together and solve, solve the issues in faithful and respectful ways.
If the government officials and the society cooperate with each other, respect each other, know how to handle situations, this will lead to a better democratic government, a stronger sense of community, a stronger sense of belonging, and a more stable, more meaningful, and healthier sense of the self. The vibrant history of our nation emphasizes our fidelity of our premises and our desire to attain independence. We have explored all the possibilities to attain and sustain values. The colonial influence may have tainted our values and traits, but we have remained faithful to one another and to our nation. Despite numerous foreign influences and the impositions of authoritarian rule, we continue to build democratic communities and a strong institution to demonstrate distinct and separate national identity.
And that's the end of our video. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learn something from us. Bye.